think you're swoopy enough.
It has to be a little bit swoopier. I need the swoop. I need a lot more swoop. Look at the swoop.
Look at this curl.
Curl.
I mean it so much.
So curly.
I have real curly hair.
Oh. Hey, guys.
Oh, hi. I didn't know we were recording.
Hey, welcome back to Mutt and Stump.
Welcome to Mutt and Stump.
Select your player.
Select match.
And guess what today's theme is? Throwbacks. In a way. So, next week, the big week of E3.
And ARMS.
And,
That's next week, too.
releasing a game in the middle of E3 is a little rough, but E3, for those of you who do not know, stands for Electronic Entertainment Expo. It's a big convention where all the big publishers of all video games come together and announce all future titles coming out in the next year and a few others after. They'll make announcements for new titles coming in years to come.
Looking at you, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Or Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Or Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah. And maybe not announce a release date for them, and that's just up in the future. But the biggest thing is the announcements of what games come out this year and the first quarter next year.
Now, one of the cool things that I really like about E3 is they tend to showcase games that have already been announced, too. Like, one of the ones I'm really excited for was seeing more of is Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why on earth can his hat see through the brim of the hat in order to look at each other?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Huh? Who's down there? What's going on up there?
It's me,
Mario! You've got so much light! All the places he's been, I'm sure. So, today we wanted to talk about the ways that people try to guess what's going to come out. It's been kind of a... What's the word I'm looking for?
Shimmy?
It's a shimmy. Kind of a shimmy.
Robot dance?
A shimmy and a shake. And a little scootin' boogie. A usual thing to do around this time of year to predict what games are going to be announced.
You see a lot of people out there, they really go very far into this prediction. Like, I've known a couple people that have gone to the local fortune teller, Nagi Baba, and gotten tarot cards even, and then tried to see what's coming. But, you know, it's all hearsay.
Mm-hmm. Now, there are, of course, those things that are pretty much certain what's going to come. Things that have either already been announced or that have already been kind of hinted at or leaked beforehand, which happens a lot. Looking at you, Assassin's Creed.
And Assassin's Creed.
And any Ubisoft title.
Except for Child of Light.
Well,
because that just sort of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's true. I think that was a smaller side of the company, though.
Yeah. Looking at you, Mario and Rabbids.
Which hasn't been announced, but we're pretty sure that everybody in the Earth knows exactly what you are and when, like, that you exist.
Especially since there was a picture released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've kind of used it as a advertising strategy at this point.
So there have been a lot of cool things at conventions. Like, Breath of the Wild was out of nowhere. A huge open world Zelda game. Really cool. There's really cool things that have been announced in every convention. Mm-hmm. E3 is one of the very biggest, but there's a lot of other ones sometimes put on by the companies themselves. We wanted to talk to you about some of the weird announcements.
Very weird announcements. Now, we were going to come into this little, weird ways to predict announcements. There are some people, I've talked to a few people that I know that I have listened to programs about people who love to predict upcoming movies. And one guy has a whole formula about how what series is going to be rebooted on TV, or the next series going to get a movie reboot. And apparently, what was it? Family Matters was the next thing in line to get a full reboot series. Yeah. But I had, in that line of thought, I was going to jokingly say that Bubsy was going to get a remake game. Bubsy. I don't even know what animal he is. He's like a Tasmanian devil or something. But he was a failed game to try to compete with Sonic the Hedgehog back in the early Sega days. I was going to save that joke for this video. But right before we started recording, they announced a new Bubsy game.
Bubsy 2.
I think there was a Bubsy 2, actually.
Bubsy 3.
But that game was so hated. Well, not hated, just nobody cared for it. That it could hardly hold on. The second game was a mistake to be Bubsy. It was, I think, a portable game that just failed in all aspects.
Probably one of those McDonald's ones that you get in the Happy Meal toys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's coming back.
Yep. I honestly would have no idea how to go about even predicting what would come back. I mean, it's like, take the most obscure thing that you can possibly think of that maybe has a tiny bit of a following, and it'll come. Like, we're probably going to get a open world Q*bert remake.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
just put it in Minecraft.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with the popularity of Minecraft, you could totally do that. It'd be like a Splatoon Minecraft mix where your Q*bert has to make the whole world his color.
And you speak weird languages. Speaking of Splatoon, though.
Yeah.
Did you watch that Nintendo conference? It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I did, yeah.
It was like the unveiling of the Switch was a pretty decent little conference.
Yeah.
Lots of curveballs, though. Didn't expect most of the things coming. But one of my very, very favorite things that has ever happened in a conference has happened in that one. So it was held in Japan, so they had translators. And one of the translators was extremely incompetent.
Or he just got weak knees.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both.
Maybe.
He did sound Americans. Americans have weak knees. But anyways, while the announcers were up there, they would be talking, going real fast, and then he'd be,
"You gotta go fast.
This is going to be released."
Somebody take over.
Seriously, that's what I felt like. But the best thing to watch him interpret was Splatoon 2. Now, the announcer for this that came out, he was in a lab coat. He had 2 guns, models.
Themed off the game's new weapons.
And he introduced himself as a person from the Squid Research Lab. And he wanted to introduce a new game. And he went, and I quote, "Splatoon 2!"
Yep, he did the whole...
But it was great to hear the interpreter, because he's like, "Splatoon 2 will be..." While the other guy's, "Splatoon 2!"
No, this would have been great if the hype had been built up and it had a better audience, maybe a little bit more fans and less press. But this was a whole press event. The fans were only watching over on the online. And so you didn't get all of the cheering and the clapping and the involvement that they were hoping to get with this kind of presentation.
So we shall now reenact exactly what happened. Splatoon 2! Will be released upcoming in summer 2017. Splatoon 2! There you go. Now you don't need to watch Nintendo's conference.
Yeah, it was cool but sad, and it gave us a funny moment that we can draw back on.
But is it anywhere near as embarrassing as PlayStation's announcement?
Which one? All the companies have pretty embarrassing announcements, but PlayStation has some really funny moments.
So when the was it the PlayStation Portable?
I think it might have been the PSP. Yeah. I have to look it up a little bit, but if you guys research, you'll figure it out. They announced the console, and of course, it was another press event. Not a lot of fans there. If there were, they weren't very enthused.
They weren't very enthused at all.
So they sit there, and they're showing it off. And the guy, instead of having a screen connected to it, I think it was early days. I don't know if they figured out how to, capture the image onto a bigger screen. I mean, you probably could have back then. I don't know. But he was showing the game. He was playing the game, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, the game that I'm playing right now is Speed Racer," and he shows everybody that he's playing it, and nobody, we just.
Go Speed Racer.
And then
Go Speed Racer.
For the second time, because he didn't get any claps or anything, he goes, "Speed Racer!" And it's just like,
I'm sorry, man. You're not getting any better reaction than what you got.
Yeah. Now, one thing I'm looking forward to with E3 is when the new Xbox is announced. And there is a new Xbox coming. It might not be a new generation Xbox. It'll still be connected to Xbox One.
Scorpio is what they call it.
Project
Scorpio. The specifications on that thing are monstrous.
6 teraflops.
What's a teraflop?
I had no idea teraflops even existed before they made that.
Yep. My sister-in-law's name is Tara.
It makes it sound really, really powerful because nobody's heard of a teraflop. That's a new measurement.
It's pretty amazing.
But if you go by their specifications of what a teraflop is, the PS4 has 4 teraflops.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 more teraflops. It is faster. But by how much? Who knows?
Imagine a teraflop to be like a beetle. It's like horsepower, but beetles.
Yeah. I can only imagine your cousin just...
Hey, my sister-in-law.
Oh, your sister-in-law. Sorry.
Yes.
6 of those. That's how powerful.
Yeah. Bet you could do it pretty fast.
Probably.
But not as fast as you could do 4.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't a good measurement. But one of my favorite things that has ever happened with announcements of new consoles was when the PS3 was being announced.
Oh boy.
Now, Sony came out, PS3, they were like, "Oh, better graphics than we've ever had before. It's amazing. And it's going to be the low price of $600. Woo!" And Xbox afterwards. This is when they were coming out with a 360. The guy comes up to the mic. He stares at the audience for a second. And all he does is says the price.
$300.
$300.
And the funniest thing about it all is the next generation after, it happens again. But this time on Xbox. They come out, not only though is the price a little bit higher, they announced that the console itself was online exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So think, when you want to play an MMO, you have to have an internet connection. If you're offline...
Which makes sense. I mean, you got to play with other people.
Yeah. when you're offline, you can't play the game. Not at all. Not even by yourself.
Now imagine if that was for Super Mario.
You couldn't even turn on your console. It would have a check system that would go every few minutes to see if there was a connection. If there wasn't, boop.
Sorry, no connection. You cannot play your game.
And not only that, they said, hey, the games coming out for this system are going to be pretty much marked for that system. When you put a CD in the console, it's going to say, okay, this console owns this game.
It's pretty much branded.
Mm-hmm. You cannot give it to another person. Their
Not
console,
even to borrow it. You can't sell your games. You can't. Sorry, GameStop.
Yeah.
I'm not getting your $3.
Nope. You can't give your games. You can't share it. You can't use it on other consoles. It is branded to your console. Guess what? PlayStation did.
Well, they went out there and they said, "You can share games."
Guess how we do it?
Oh, this looks like a good game. Thanks for letting me borrow it.
Oh,
Hey.
you're welcome, Scorpio.
Well, I'm thinking of buying that Xbox One.
Yeah, but that's $400,
Yeah, but I really
and it's
like.
online only.
Yeah, but I really like that.
Yeah, but guess what? PlayStation 4
Yeah.
has all your friends going to it because nobody wants that console.
I don't have any friends, so I'll buy an Xbox anyways.
So, these things happen, and it goes back and forth, and it's exciting to see what's going to happen this year with a new Scorpio announced, or a new console, Scorpio being announced. They've kind of released specifications about it, the 6 teraflops and everything, but we don't know what it looks like, how it's going to run.
I bet it'll look somewhat like a VCR.
You think?
Yeah.
Like, push in a little
Yeah, I think they're gonna change from discs as well to
cartridges, like full-on.
massive VHS cartridges.
That would be hilarious.
That if you try to eat, it'll taste bad.
Ooh.
They got that from Nintendo.
So yeah, maybe PlayStation will announce a new upgrade to their PS4 Pro to kind of battle it. Or maybe they have a separate strategy to get people to buy more of their stuff on the side.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting to see what all the announcements are going to be at E3. If Nintendo even gives any announcements. I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
Sony and Xbox will. But
Nintendo last year was kind of sad because they dedicated their whole thing to Breath of the Wild. Now, the game itself...
That's a good game.
It's an amazing game. But they had nothing else going for them at the time. And they're like, hey, we got to push everything we can. Their entire
booth
at
was
E3.
Zelda themed, which is... They're thinking they're doing Mario themed this year.
But they at least have a 30-minute presentation where they get to announce things.
Yeah.
They went from a booth to another presentation. So,
yeah. So, let us know what you're excited for about E3. Let us know if you have any predictions about what is going to be released. I mean, who knows? You may just be right.
You may just be right. And let us know what your hopes are or old games that you want remade.
For instance, I'd love to see a Link to the Past in the style of Ocarina of Time.
It's true. That'd be awesome.
It would be really cool.